Let's go back to 2018. Some significant moments in the country were we had the infamous handshake. Over 300,000 people were displaced across the country due to floods, and a film about two young women falling in love was banned because of its homosexual themes. So I heard about the whole shebang back then as it was happening, but I was going through my very first heartbreak, and watching the movie was the last thing on my mind. So I've been looking for some nice local films to watch, and this movie randomly popped up. And now I want to see this movie, which, according to the Kenyan Film Classification Board, was clearly intended to promote lesbianism. A film that was adapted from a Ugandan short story. It was directed by a Kenyan lady. It was acted by amazing African actresses and actors. The soundtrack featured African artists, but those awful scheming foreigners just want to promote homosexuality by funding the filmmakers. The filmmakers who had tried to find funding for several years before producing the film, but they didn't find any until they found people who believed in their project. How dare these people try to promote their agenda? I'll give more of my opinion after I watch the movie because who knows, maybe this movie made with the intention of promoting lesbianism will make me break up with my boyfriend because that's definitely how that works, right? Ugh. Hi, my name is Naomi Ngendo, and let's get into it. So, we're introduced to our first main character. Her name is Kenna. She's this cool, laid back chick who seems to have a pretty fun group of friends, with one of the friends called Blackstar. Ugh, what a name. So, they're hanging out, and 5 minutes in, we learn that one of our friends is pretty intolerant and biased towards this guy who walks by them because he's gay. He makes fun of the way he dresses, which according to me looks pretty chic, but whatever. So Kenna doesn't get why the friend hates this stranger so much, and she seems pretty distraught over the whole interaction. After they hang out with her friends, we see Kenna staring at this group of girls, and we can tell she definitely has a crush on one of them, and it looks like the feeling is mutual. Guess we'll find out later on. So we learn that Kenna's parents are separated and her dad is running for office. We also find out at the same time as Kenna that her dad is expecting a child with his new wife from the area's gossip person, the gossip monger. I don't know what you call them. So Kenna gets home and she struggles to tell her mother the news. So Kenna's dad has a store and she's there with the dad, and this is when she confronts the dad on why he did not tell her he's expecting a child with another woman.
I was worried about your mom and you.
He tells her to take the day off and they'll talk about it later. So we learn that the girl Kenna seems to have a crush on is called Ziki, and her father is running for the same seat Kenna's dad is running for. So at one point, Ziki was with her friends and they tore down Kenna's dad's posters. So Ziki sees Kenna and she walks over to apologize for that and they decide to hang out. So it's a little bit weird seeing them hang out together because their dads are political rivals. So they decide to hang out at some rooftop, and this is where they get to know each other. So Kenna wants to be a nurse, and Ziki wants to travel the world. Ziki does not want to stay at home and do typical things like do dishes, do laundry, and have babies. She's not like other girls. Have you seen her hair? So they make a pact not to conform to society's expectations of them, but to always keep it real. So far, this is a pretty nice movie. In the movie, they just finished high school, so I'm guessing they're 18, 19 years old. And I remember at the time I could relate to them. I also wanted to be my own person and not conform to what society expected from me. Who didn't at that age? So the news about them hanging out reaches Kenna's mother, and she wants to meet Ziki. And the mom notices there's something different about Kenna, and she thinks it's because of a boy. Ugh, she has no idea. So Kenna and Ziki do have a moment when they're playing football, and it starts raining, and they hide out in a van. And Kenna, probably scared of what she's feeling at the moment, she leaves. And then we get a montage of cute moments between Kenna and Ziki. It was cute. I was smiling the whole time. Some parts were a little bit cringe for me at least, but that's because I don't know what romance looks like. and it's not because it's two girls. It was really cute though. And then they finally share their first kiss, and I'm wondering, is this the sin they say that would corrupt our culture and moral values and that would kill the institution of marriage? Because I don't understand. It's a very cute moment. Back to the movie. So Kena's father sees them being all cute and he's worried because his daughter is hanging out with the daughter of his political rival. This could jeopardize his efforts to get him into office. So they have the talk, and of course, the talk with the dad does not stop Kenna from seeing Ziki. So Kenna and Ziki are hanging out when they see Kenna's friends who call them over. Her friends are still pretty intolerant. The guy they were harassing earlier passes by them, and of course, the friends have to say something. They hurl insults at him. Ziki is shocked. Kenna walks away. Ziki finds Kenna, and Kenna has put on some candles and flowers for her in the van they had used to shelter from the rain, and they fall asleep in the van. So, wearing the clothes she had the previous night, Kenna bumps into Blackstar, and Blackstar jokingly asks her which guy she spent the night with. And this is where we learn that Blackstar seems to be interested in Kenna. He wants them to hang out, but she does not really want this, so she walks away. So, cut to church, and the preacher is having the same sex marriage and relationship is going against God's will sermon. And Kenna and Ziki are sitting next to each other. So Ziki wants to hold Kenna's hand while they're in church, and Kenna is having none of it. So Kenna walks out, and Ziki follows her. Ziki tells her that she was just having fun, but Kenna was uncomfortable with her family and everyone being there. Ziki is a I don't care what anyone sees and says type of girl, but Kenna thinks they are being irresponsible. Some time has passed, and one of Ziki's friends walks up to Kenna and tells her to stay away from Ziki, since Ziki was spending a lot of time with Kenna and the friends were feeling neglected. They get into an altercation, and Ziki comes to separate them. So Ziki is cleaning up Kenna's wound. Kenna was hurt, and Kenna confesses her love, and they kiss, and Ziki's mom walks in on them. Threatening to call Kenna's mother to tell her everything, they run away to the van. So they're in the van making plans about their future when the village gossip and the village gossip's daughter finds them. So the village gossip's daughter, she likes Blackstar, but Blackstar doesn't like her back. So she told her mom about the girls, and now here they are. The village gossip shouts and tells people to come see this abomination. These are the two daughters of the political rivals in the area. And then this mob shows up and forces them out of the van. So the mob is pushing them around, tearing their clothes, hitting them. Someone actually shouts, "Burn them." And Ziki passes out. Kenna is hurt and she's looking around and she sees one of her friends is part of the mob. Imagine the betrayal. And a police officer shows up and the mob disperses. And the two girls are taken to the police station. So they're seated at the police station and they're injured. So what do you think is going to happen? Option one, the police will take a statement, get them the help they need since they are injured, and then arrest the people who assaulted them and almost killed them. Or two, the police will taunt them, make jokes, and laugh at them. It's two, obviously. So Kenna's dad gets to the station and immediately goes to talk to the officer in charge. What about Ziki's dad? What do you think will he do after he sees his daughter seated there, all bloody and distraught? And then they get into the car. So Kenna goes after them and tries to talk to Ziki, but Ziki doesn't want to respond and they drive away. So Kenna's father walks out and it was nice seeing him comforting his daughter. It made me tear up, honestly. So he takes her home, and since Kenna lives with her mom, the dad brings her into the house, tells her to take a bath, then they'll talk. Kenna's mom is so disgusted and upset with her daughter, and the dad is trying to reason with the mom by telling her to save the anger for the guys who almost beat their daughter to death. He can see that those people who assaulted the daughter should be at the police station, not the daughter, and they get into this heated argument. So Kenna leaves. She can't stand hearing the painful things being said by her mom. So Kenna is taken to church, and we have this scene where we have people who have put their hands on her, they're praying for her, and the mom is also there. The mom is still not talking to her. So Kenna goes to see Ziki, and Ziki mom lets her see her, and Kenna finds Ziki packing. Ziki is being sent to London. So Ziki seems to have accepted her fate. The relationship would not have led to something substantial, according to her, and she wants her life back. So Ziki kicks Kenna out, and after Kenna leaves, we see that Ziki does not actually want to go. But it looks like she has to. Her parents are making her go. So we cut to some time into the future, and Kenai is working at a hospital as a doctor, which was her dream. And the village gossip is at the hospital, and she does not want Kenai to treat her or touch her because apparently she's contagious because she's a lesbian. I don't get it. And of course, a gossip monger is gonna gossip mong. So she tells Kenai that Zizi came back. So Kenna goes back home, and it is implied that they do finally reunite, and we can guess that they live happily ever after. And that is the end of the movie. And guess what? I am still straight. I'm not going to break up with my boyfriend because of the movie. I thought the movie would corrupt my values because that's what two women falling in love does. Ugh, ridiculous. The film was banned, meaning it was not to be screened anywhere in the country, but the ban was temporarily lifted for a week so that it should be considered for an Oscar. And during this week, people flooded to the cinema. And I know I am late to the party by about 7 years, but I am just as confused as people were why this movie was seen as so immoral, with one person saying she did not get the concern, bearing in mind that we have been allowed to watch movies and series with worse scenes. And I found it very funny when the head of the film classification board said that the big agenda of this film is to kill the institution of family. Really? It's not the financial concerns with the high cost of living and no jobs that is killing the institution of family. It's not the shift in societal expectations of women and men in the home or the high cases of domestic violence or infidelity. Those are not the things that are killing the institution of marriage. No, it's this movie about two young people, two consenting adults falling in love and choosing to live together happily. That is what is killing the institution of family. Are you serious right now? And it's also very funny that they immediately took action to have this film banned because it had scenes that are against the law, the culture, and the moral values of the Kenyan people. But didn't not so long ago a pastor stand on his pulpit and tell women that they were unattractive and not good enough to. He told women it would be so much better to get because that is proof that you're attractive. I haven't seen anything being done about that, or is that part of our culture and moral values as a Kenyan people? Honestly, please tell me because I am so confused. And that is my opinion 7 years later on the movie Rafiki. Thank you so much for being here. I really do love and appreciate you, honestly. Please let me know what you think down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you have any opinions related or unrelated to the video? Honestly, anything goes. Please let me know down below. And I would very much like to see you on the next one. Bye.